because collection is a second process of this information life cycle. So what is the role of collection? So there are different type of collection methods. If we are take example of research, there are many tools and techniques which are used to collect the information. For example, there are many methods like observation, experiment, and other different kinds of the research methods and tools which are used to collect the information, like interview method, questionnaire, then observation, then sample. So all these are nothing but the tools and techniques which are used to collect the information. So except that there are many instrumentation with the help of we can collect the information, right? Like a telephone, by doing a telephone interview we can collect the information, by calling we can collect the information, with the help of internet means Google form, by preparing the Google form we can collect the information, right? By using the feedback form we can collect the informations. So there are n numbers of ways to collect the informations, right? And there are another method which are also used to collect the information, like offline methods. Like if we are take example of our library, so there are files, registers, and others kinds of the records which are kept in the library, that are the best example of data collection, and with the help of these we can keep the record properly. And accession register is there, entry register is there, okay. And except that offline example we can take as a online example also. OPAC is there, and another example is softwares are there, okay. Email is there, Google form is there. There are many examples we can use to collect the example. And the first step we have discussed on this, that generate the informations. After generate the information, there is another process is that collection the informations, but in which we saw that how many tools and techniques and other methods and ways to collect the informations. We have also discussed on that. And after the collections, what could be the third stage, third process in this circle? It is a question in front of us. So after collecting the information, it is need to store it, right? If we are collect any kinds of the material substances, but if we don't have proper place, proper provisions, proper method to store the material, the substances, then what will happen? It will be wasted, it will be decayed, okay. So in this way the better option is to store system, how we can use for this. So after collection the information, storage is most important. So where we can store the information, like there are many methods, tools and techniques which are used to collect the information. At the same way there are many methods to store the information, right? So whatever information we have collected through the different types of methods, tools and techniques, and number of ways, so we can store the same information by using the different types of methods. So which kind of the method we are using or we can use to store the information, okay. First of all, we see that here also offline and online. Okay, and offline collection methods and on offline and online collection methods. Okay, so in this way collection storage have also offline and online methods. So offline means there are many registers, many files and another different types of the criteria we can use to store the offline information. Yes. So which are the offline methods we can use to store the online information? Okay. So database is there, ebooks is there, journals are there. All these are nothing but the example of storage the information. Okay. So internet is also X examples, then repository, and another example e-library, e-Granthalaya. All these are nothing but the online storage of information. And offline storage of information is nothing but a traditional libraries, all kinds of the books, book material, non-book material which are kept in the library in physical form, that is called the offline storage method. Okay. And after discussing the generation of information, collection of information, storage of information, then it is a last step of information which is categorized in the information life cycle, disseminations. So after storing the information, there is a questions in front of us that how we can get the information, how we can retrieve the information. So information retrieval is the most important subject which are taught in our whole syllabus. When we appeared in PG level, at that time we have been learned the information retrieval system. There are many methods, tools and techniques which are used to retrieve the information. Okay. So here also there are two ways information retrieval. First one is offline and second one is online. Okay. So offline methods, if we take example of traditional library is the storage of information, and when the user used to come in the library and different types of information is demanded by the users in the library. So in the library users use different types of method to get the information, like issue and return the book, by refer the books, by visiting the library, by using the referral service. He can use the different types of the books. Okay. ADI service he also use there, and another example cash service also used by the users. So in this way different types of the services like ADI, cash, then document delivery service, then reference service, information service, by using all these service user can get the information from the physical library, right? So at the same way all these service can be put up online, and by using the online method user can get the information from the online platform by using the different types of online services like ADI, cash, document delivery services, reference services, ask librarian, वगैरह वगैरह. Okay. So in this way this process is going on offline as well as online. So that is why all the process from first stage to last stage, the complete process is called the information life cycle. Okay, after generate the information, how it passes, from which stages, and how it is utilized at the last stages. So this complete process is called the information life cycle. So after that descriptions, with the help of this flow chart, we can try to understand how the information life cycle is going on and what is the actual information life cycle, how many stages are come there, and how each stage is worked. So if we will understand this, then we will understand the complete process of information life cycle. It is very easy to understand. So you can write down this complete flow chart. It will be understandable for to you. So I have told you that in our own language, according to our own interpretation, how the information life cycle is worked, right? Now with the help of this text, we try to understand here how information life cycle is worked. Okay, so information life cycle, integrity in the data life cycle. So both word concept we understand here. Data life cycle and information life cycle is not different from to each other. So data is considered as a information, and information is considered as a data. So when we talk about the data, ultimately we talk about the information, and when we talk about the information, ultimately we talk about the data. So both are not different from to each others. So if you are working with data in a library information science organization, it is imperative that you can guarantee its integrity at every stage of the data life cycle. Below we identify the 5 stages of data life cycle management. What you need to ensure is in place at each stage, the 5 stages of data life cycle management. Okay, so earlier with the help of flowchart, we try to understand the information life cycle, in which we discussed that 4 stages of information, in which we saw that generation, second one collection, third one storage, and fourth one dissemination. Okay, to complete the information life cycle, all these 4 stages are most important there. So at the same way we try to understand data life cycle. Okay, but here the data life cycle have given the 4 instead of 4 stages, here 5 stages are given there. Okay, So there is a similarity, the information life cycle as well as data life cycle. There is no difference, there is no too much difference. Okay, only word can be different there, the stages name can be given the difference. Okay, so you try to understand. So data life cycle management is a process that help organization to manage the flow of data. Okay, life cycle means from start to end, from birth to death. Okay, that is called the cycle, life cycle. If we are take example of human being or alive animals, any kinds of alive animals, he has life cycle. Okay, each and every person take the birth, then he live some period here, and after that he will be died. Okay, so this is the stages of human being, or these are the stages of any kinds of alive animals, right? Three stages which are the most important. First one birth, second one life, and third one the death. So from birth to death, in between the period, it is called the life. Okay, so we can say that there are certain stages of life of human being, right? So from initial creation through to destruction. Okay, so here are also given two words, creation and destruction. Alive animals, so all kinds of the are come here. First one is a birth, and end is the death. So this is the life cycle of alive animal, birth to death, right? So the whole process from first stage to last stage of human being or any other kinds of alive animals, that is called the life cycle. So information is not also exception for this, data is not also exception for this, so it is called also life cycle, right? Means the process of creation, process of generation of information, and after that, after utilization, it will be destroyed. Okay, so in this way, how the information is passes through these stages, it should be studied. After studying, we will understand their many features, how the information is generated, who is generator of informations, and what is the process and methods of generator information, and after that, from generation to destructions, in which what kind of the stages are come there and how it passed through the information through these stages. Okay, so it is need to study from first stage to last stage of information. That is why all the stages are most important in the information life cycle. Okay, so first one is given there, data creation. So data creation is nothing but the generation of information, like earlier we have discussed on this also. So what is the process of data creations, how many steps, and what are the tools and techniques which are used to create the data? Okay, the first phase of data life cycle is the creation captures of data. This data can be in many forms, means PDF, image, Word, document, SQL, database. Data is typically created by an organization in one of three ways. Okay. So data acquisition, acquiring the already existing data which has been produced outside the organization. Data acquisition, okay. Then data entry, data capture. So all these three methods will be used to create the data. Okay, if we take an example of traditional library or library, physical library, then all these process, stages, methods will be used there. So we can categorize data creation in two methods, offline methods and online methods. Now here data acquisitions, okay. So data acquisition, data entry, data captures, we can use both ways, offline as well as online, right? So data acquisition means to acquire the data from the outsource of data. So which are the sources of data acquisition? So there are many ways we are using. If we are taking an example of physical library, then how we can acquire the data? We are purchased the many books from the vendors, from the book agencies and any other centers, okay. And after that we can use Google form to feedback, to take the feedback of the users. We can use physical form to feedback the users. So all these are the methods. We can also keep the entry register at the gate and we can acquire the data, okay. And online also we can use this method while they are visiting the opaque system which are using in our library. So here we can acquire the data online. So online methods and offline methods we have discussed here. Another method is data entry. So manual entry of new data by personnel within the organization, okay. So in data entry we can use both ways, offline as well as online. So online means data entry should be done with the help of softwares as well as internet, as well as with the help of emails, and there are many ways to acquire or to enter the data, okay. While the visitors visit our website, our online system, our online app as well as online library, at that time we can get or acquire the data from the users. So that is nothing but the data entry, okay. And another example we can take of offline data entry. So which are the methods will be used to data entry offline, right? So if the register is kept at the gate of library, then different types of users when visit the library, at that time they can do their entry in the registers. So automatically data entry will be done there, and those people who are working in the library, in the office, they are also continuously working to enter the data in the library, and all these methods will be used there, offline as well as online. Then another method is their data captures. Capture of data generated by device used in various process in the organization. So data capture is nothing but the different types of tools and techniques which are used while the users are using the online platform. So there are many ways our personal information is given on the online platforms, and that is why data is captured by the system. Okay. While we are using the website, if the website is demand to register your email, mobile numbers as well as feedback, okay, then data is captured there of users. So in this way the database of users will be prepared automatically there, right? So all these method will be used in data creation. Then second one, storage. So earlier we have also discussed the storage of information. After collecting, the second stage is storage. In information life cycle, second stage is given collection, but in data life cycle second stage is given storage. Okay, so this is the difference between two life cycle. Data creation, I will write here to compare. Data life cycle. Okay, so first stage is given there data creation, second is given storage, okay. Then you can compare the information life cycle as well as data life cycles. So some stages are given there less or more, but the process of both life cycle, information life cycle, data as well as information, is not too much different. So storage is most important of data life cycle. Once the data has been created within the organization, it needs to be stored and protected with the appropriate level of security applied. A robust backup and recovery process should also be implemented to ensure retentions of data during the life cycle. Okay. So in this way storage is most important thing. If we are create the data, but if we don't have use the method of storage, then the data creation will be wasted, or it will be scattered, it will be vanish after some time if we don't have proper methods. So farmer is also use this method after generation the any kinds of crops. He collected all kinds of the grains, fruits or vegetables. Okay, but after that collections, it is need to storage sometimes. If he don't use the storage system there, then what will happen? Proper storage system without any destructions, without any problems, then what will happen? the grains, vegetables or fruits will be decayed. Okay, so that's why farmer are also used proper storage system, and after storage he will sell his material in the market. Okay, so this is the process, but it is need the farmer to storage sometimes to take his material like vegetable, fruits or grains from farm to the market. Okay, some time will be spent in between these stages, and that's why it is need to storage of any kinds of the grains, fruits or vegetable to the farmer. Okay, at the same way, after collecting the data, after generating the data as well as the information, there is a need to store it sometimes. Okay, before the utilization of data, before utilization of information. So storage step is most important, whether in information life cycle as well as in data life cycle. So this step is not also important, this step is not also important in the life cycle, information life cycle as well as data life cycle, but somewhere in the field of agriculture, in the field of research, in the field of academic field, academic institutions, so everywhere storage is important there. And after that, third stage is most important here, uses, utilization. Okay, consume. So during the uses phase of data life cycle, data is used to support activities in the organization. Data can be viewed, processed, modified and saved. Okay, audit trail should be maintained for all critical data to ensure that all modifications to data are fully traceable. Data may also be made available to share with others outside the organization. Okay, so in this way uses is most important there. Okay, so after generation information or data, second stage is most important, storage of data and information, but after that utilization, uses, implementations, consume is most important there, and that is why we are generate and store the data as well as information to consume it proper way, to get the proper value, to proper time with energy. Okay, that's why both stages are most important. If we generate the information, we store the information, but there is no use, there is no proper use to consume it, to use it, then what is the advantage of first stage and second stage, means data creation and data storage. So there is no value data creation and data storage if we don't have properly use data as well as information. So consume, uses, utilization is most important stage in this data life cycle. So after that, archival. Data archival is the copying of data of an environment where it is stored in case it is needed again in active productions environment, and the removal from this data from all active production environment. So after utilization of data, after usage of data, the data cannot be destroyed immediately. Sometime, somewhere it will be reused. That's why it cannot be destroyed after the usage. So which is the best method for this? To keep non-usable data in the archive. Okay, but the expiry date of information as well as data is not expired immediately. After sometimes, somewhere it will be used again, and that is why it will be kept in the archive. So in many companies, many information center, many research centers, data will be kept in the archive. Okay, after some times, after some periods, after some years, we can reuse again. Data archive is simply a place where the data is stored, but where no maintenance or generation usage occurs. Okay, so maintenance and general usage not occur here. It will be kept in one place. If necessary, the data can be restored or used again to environment where it can be used. Okay, but fully or whole data we cannot use from the archive. Some part or partial data can be used or reused. So that is why some data or information will be outdated after some times. So it is need to destroy it, complete destroy it. Okay, and in this way archival has also most important, okay. And after that, destruction. The volumes of archived data inevitably grows, and while you may want to save all your data forever, that not feasible. Storage cost and compliance issues extends pressure to destroy the data you no longer need. Okay, so each and every moment the information is generating, so that's why a lot of information is generated everywhere. So it is very difficult, or it is very challenge in front of us that to manage and store all kinds of the information. So the problem and issues of storage will become in front of us, that the problems and issues of archival is become theirs, and that's why some data will be decayed from the archival step by step. Okay, so it is need to observe, to evaluate which kind of the data is useful for us and which kind of the data is not useful for us. So after verified, we should destroy the outdated data from the archival, so it will be create the space, right? So in this way, destruction is most important there. For understanding, we can take our mobile example of mobile. So if you are using mobiles, smartphones, then certain memory is given in the mobile, 64 GB, 128 GB, like this. Okay, RAM ROM is given there, and that's why only such a data you can store in your phone, but after beyond the limitation you cannot store the data in your phone or phone memory. But sometime what happen, we store a lot of things in our mobile, photos and videos, and in one stage your memory become the full and the problem of storage will be come there. So many times we get the message continuously, your memory become the full. You can delete the similar photos, you can remove your memories, okay, like this. And the problem of the phone will be create in front of us, that the phone is hang there, is not function properly, like this, okay. So what we will do there, some old photos we can delete there, some unnecessary information photos or videos we can delete there, or files we can delete there, and we can create the data storage, okay. So in this way destruction method is most important here. If we don't destroy the data which is not usable, then what will happen, we saw with the help of mobile examples, okay. Then another example we can also give, our traditional library, we are purchasing the books continuously in the library, and if we are continuously purchasing the books, then what will happen, the problem of space create in front of us, that it is a questions in front of us, that how we can sell all kinds of the books in the certain space. So there is a one method we are using, outdated books we can bring out from the library, from the collection, that is called the weeding policy, okay. So this method is nothing but the destruction method, okay. It will be help to create the space in the physical library, and same happen in the online library also. So this method is also important. So data destruction or purging is the removal of every copy of data items from an organization. It is typically done from an archive storage location. The challenge of this phase of the life cycle is to ensure that the data has been properly destroyed, okay. So it is most important to ensure before destroying the data that the data items have exceeded their required retention period, okay. So while we are deleting the photos and video from our mobile, we also check whether it is useful or not useful. At the same way, while you are destroying the data from our library, you should check that whether it is useful or not useful, whether it is expire or not. Having a clearly defined documented data lifecycle management process is key to ensuring data governance can be carried out effectively within our organization. At DataWorks, our highly skilled CSV and software engineers provide a full range of data integrity services as a part of our offering, including data integrity assessment, remediations, softwares, validation services, okay. So in this way, all these processes are most important while we are studying the data life cycle. So in information life cycle, 4 stages are given there, and as I compare data life cycle, the 5 stages are given here, and we have been studied about that. So here we will take short break, and after that we will start again. Thank you. So in this way we discussed on the life cycle of data. and now we are going to see information life cycle. So what could be the difference between two them? And if we take example, already we have discussed on this also, information life cycle. What are the process and what are the stages and how many stages in this life cycle: generation, collection, storage and dissemination. On each stage we have discussed there are 4 stages in this life cycles, as well as we have discussed on that data life cycle: data creation, data storage, then data uses, okay, then archival, and the 5th stage is the destruction. So we can compare the information life cycle and the data life cycle. Then you will understand what are the difference and what are the similarity between these life cycle. Basically there is no too much difference between these life cycle. If we say both are similar, so there would be not wrong, there is no wrong, right? So we can say, or we can bring out the conclusion that there is a similarity between these life cycle. So if you are trying to draw this flow chart, then you will understand the whole process of data life cycle and information life cycle, and you can compare also both to each others. Now we are going to discuss in some details. According to Turner, information is a key resource that can bring about change and improvement in the society. Information has been considered as an important resource playing considerable socio-economical development of society. So definition is given there, you should remember this. According to normal, information is one of the one form or another has consistently been significant elements in the development of human society, and that has shaped over a long period of time the way in which we think and act. Information bring people thoughts together. It is the exchange of ideas, news and data that makes a society, okay. So data, information, knowledge for the discipline of information system. Data is any symbol, sign or measure which is in form which can be directly captured by a person or machine. The sign or record the fact, figures or event, it is also called data. So there are many definitions are given by the expert here, and it is understand how the information life cycle is worked and how the data life cycle is worked, okay. So Sadagopan in 2002 also given the definition of information, Alter in 1990. So I don't read all kinds of the definition, you can read at home, because one definition we have taken here for discussions, and for our understanding we try to define the data as well as information in our own language as well as knowledge in earlier lectures while we are discussing on the models of information, DIKW models. So some Information definitions are given here also by the Crawford in 1978. He has described information as the fifth need of human being, ranking after air, water, food and shelter. This is the most important definition which is given by the Crawford, and you should remember this. Nazim Jaiwad in 2004. According to Shannon and viewers, this is also most important. You should remember this also. In 1949, he has given the definition of information. Mathematical theory of information: the amount of information is a message is related to the probability ratio of message. The more it reduces probability, the more information it has, and this theory believes that the prior knowledge of the recipient may reduce the amount of information in message. Okay. Then Brooks in 1980s, this information you should also remember. Then McCready and Rice in 1999, Weissman in 1972, it's Merker and Bowden 2002. So there are many informations are given by here. Information system is given here by the Bhattacharya in 1997. Information science is generalized basic discipline forming the foundation of the profession and of information work meant for rendering information service to the users of information engaged in developmental activities such as generation of new information, understanding and evaluations of existing information, decision making and carrying out rather other managerial functions relating to man-made production system of all kinds, enhancement of productivity in all production sectors, education formal and informal, mass communication and derivation of emotional satisfaction. So all these things are most important here. Okay. Then information user is most important here. A worthful information system can be established keeping interest of the users. If we are just creating the information, generating the informations, and if there will be no users, then what will happen? There is no use of information. Okay. So user are also most important, consumer are also most important. If the companies are creating the many types of products and are providing the different types of services, but suppose there will be no consumer customer of their products of their services, then what will be use of their product and services? There is no use, nobody will be use their service as well as product. So user are also most important of informations. Okay. A worthful information system can be established keeping the interest of users. An engineer, scientist, researcher, research scholar who create or generate information and who is very keen to communicate information to large audience are all information users. Kinds of users are different in different institutions, organizations. It depends on the kinds of activity education that institutions providing in engineering college institution. The users may be teachers or researcher, scholars, student of undergraduate, postgraduate and engineers. Okay. So what are the information sources? If we are generate the informations only, and we don't have a storage system to store the information, then all the information will be scattered, all the information may be destroyed. Okay, it will be used by others person, those who are not eligible for these. Okay, they can misuse such kind of the information also. So it is need to protect and secure system, storage system for the information, and that's why information sources are most important to store the information, to classify the information. Okay, so if we are looking toward the information, there is a different types of information, and that's why it is need to store in different type of sources, information sources. So this will understand to categorize the information, to classify the information. Okay, and that's why the importance of sources will be increased there. Okay, so the information sources available to teachers, scholars, etc., to know the latest development in their field and previous work done are categorized into two groups. Formal sources. The formal sources includes books, reviews, journals, reports, patterns, abstracting, indexing journals, subject bibliographies, cards, catalogs, audio visual media, databases, conference proceedings, internet, etc. Okay. So formal sources. The formal sources includes books, reviews, journals, reports, patterns, abstracting, indexing journals, subject bibliographies, cards, catalogs, audio visuals, media, databases, conference proceedings, internet itself, etc. All these are nothing but the formal sources, information sources. And informal sources, the informal sources include invisible colleges, private correspondence, local foreign conference, meetings, seminars, government departments, industries, social gathering, etc. Okay. So the question will be asked you identify the formal sources of information, then you should mention all these sources, and identify the informal sources, then you should remember all these sources. The question will be given you that identify the formal sources, and some three formal sources are given there, and one or two formal sources are given, or two informal sources are given there. So you should choose two which are the right sources. So you should remember this agency of information sources. So already we have discussed on that, which are the agency of information sources, like libraries are given there, information centers are given there. Okay, and academic library, special library, public library, national library, e-Granthalaya is there, internet it is called, self-trained college book collections, national international information centers, all these are come under this. The agency of informal information sources, invisible college, private correspondence, seminar, meeting, conference, convention, workshop, suggestion from friends, colleagues, technological gatekeepers, courier order meetings, conference, seminar, workshop, etc. Okay, so information sources and formal sources are most important, as well as formal agency and informal agencies are also most important. So you should remember all these formal sources as well as informal sources, and formal agencies as well as informal agencies of information sources. The information communication system. So after understanding different types of information points, now we are going to discuss on information system, how it work. The communication is a word that we commonly use, and therefore it is difficult to come up with scientific definition for it. The word communication has its roots in the Latin word communicare, that means to share, and the sharing is information, knowledge, thought, concept, and feelings. So information communication system means to inform, to share the data, to share the information, concept, thoughts, and feelings. So two or more parties having cooperation and understanding between them are required to share information, and they should have a mutually accepted code of signal, making a common language. So communication can be defined as the exchange of information, ideas, knowledge between sender and receiver through an accepted code of symbol. Okay. So in the word of Mayes and Mayes, then component of communication system. Which are the component of communication system? First one, communicator, means source of information. Second one is a message. Message is nothing but the information. Then language, medium of communication. Then medium, channel. Then recipient or receiver. So all these five elements are most important of communication. We will discuss on this one by one. So I will rub this. Information, communication, system. Okay. First one is a source, that is called as a communicator. Second one is given there, message language. Message. Second. Third one is a language. Fourth one is a medium. And fifth one is a recipient receiver. Recipient or receiver. Okay. Medium or channel. It is called also channel. Two names are given here. So in this way, how the communication is going on and which kind of the stages are come there, and how the information is communicated with the help of stages. So some steps, some stages are given there. First one is a source, or communicator, those who are the generator of information. And the message is nothing but the data information, that is called the message, which is draft in particular ways by using some methods. Then language is a uniform of information or message. Then medium or channel, which kind of the channels will be used to transmit the information from one place to another place. And the last one is given there, recipient or receiver, those who are consume the information, utilize the information, he is called the recipient or receiver. This is the last stage in this system, and in this way, from first to last, 5 stages are most important in the information communication system. So we should study all these stages properly, then we will understand how we can communicate with the help of these 5 stages. If we will understand all these 5 stages, then we will understand the information communication system, right? Generally we are speaking, deliver the lectures, but how this information circulate through these stages to complete the communication system, it should be understand. And if we are go through these stages, then we will understand how the information system